All right, so let's talk some Tua here. I thought Tua, there was times he looked very good. There were some things I really liked. There were some things I didn't like. I didn't think this was an incredible performance. I didn't think it was horrible either, and there was stuff that I liked and I thought he improved upon from last year, but I have some issues as well. So instead of just broadly talking about them, let's get into the film study and sort of let me show you exactly what I'm talking about with both the good and the bad. So let's start off with something like this. I think this is where Tua really excels as a quarterback, are plays like this, sort of these design plays that are working. Again, you expect a quarterback to excel at stuff like this, but Tua does a better job than even most starting quarterbacks in the NFL, I would say, at stuff like this, where it's going to be a cover 3 zone right here, and you have a receiver running a route that will eventually get into a gap in coverage. And look, right when this play starts, you're going to see that there is this pretty sizable gap in coverage right here. Obviously, the receiver is not there yet, and I think Tua does a good job of saying, hey, I'm going to throw it to where the defenders aren't. If I see this gap right here, then I'm going to make this throw right here. That's just what logically makes sense, and it's a good job of not necessarily just making this throw, but the timing on this throw. He pulls the trigger quickly. They are able to, pick up a big gain right here. So a good job by Tua, I think, of, again, just running the offense. That's what people kind of talked about. I remember Brett Coleman's video on Tua was, going into the draft was Tua is a game manager and that's okay. Well, this is exactly what you're hoping for with Tua, to kind of do this stuff at a high level. You also have stuff like this, where this is something I really liked from Tua. It's going to be man coverage, and you have a receiver who's running a deeper route towards the sideline. And this is kind of what you were hoping to see with Tua a little bit. It's what you saw with Fitzpatrick last year, was Fitzpatrick not afraid to take chances. He's not afraid to push the ball down the field, even if something isn't open. And while it will result in turnovers, when you have good receivers, it more often than not results in positive plays than negative ones. Like, look, right when this play starts, so Jalen Waddle, you can see why you'd want to make this throw, right? He kind of has a step a little bit, and he's known to be a speedy receiver. The safety has moved over towards the bottom area of the screen, so he's currently on the hash marks towards the offense's right, and since you're throwing to the offense's left, and Waddle appears to have half a step, this is a good throw to make, but it's also kind of the throw that Tua wasn't making as much as he should have last season. And as you see, Tua kind of throws it up, and that's really good stuff from Jalen Waddle. It is, to get past his assigned man, to then be able to go back towards the ball and make the grab. Really good wide receiving play for sure. It's also a really good throw from Tua and a good decision from Tua. Listen, you have talented receivers, even more so this year than last year, because you added, Will Fuller, who wasn't in this game, of course, but, you have him eventually, we hope, and you have Jalen Waddle now. So you have talent here. But even like last year with Devontae Parker, really good jump ball receiver, Tua wasn't hitting him. Well, now he started to do that. Like, this one's another example of that, where it's going to be a pretty similar thing, right? Cover one play, so only a single safety deep. You have a receiver running a go out towards the sideline. And what separates the good teams from the great teams is the ones that can consistently do that. In fact, that might just separate the good offenses from the bad offenses, quite frankly, if you can win on situations like this. And so Tua takes the snap, and again, I'll pause it right before Tua makes this throw. It's, good clean pocket, does a good job of stepping in front to kind of give himself a little bit more time. It's not wide open, right? When Tua is making his decision now, there's not really a decision to be made. It's not what you're hoping for pre-snap, but again, sometimes it's better to take these chances because you got to just trust that your receivers can make plays. And look, this is going to be just a perfectly accurate throw. That's exactly where Tua wanted it to. So again, stuff like that is very good. And when people bring up arm strength with Tua, it's usually not in a positive context, but he can still throw the ball down the field accurately. And if you can't, if you don't have a cannon of an arm, you actually don't really need that for deep shots. It's more important to have accuracy. Usually a bigger arm more comes into play kind of on that over the middle stuff. So this stuff Tua can definitely still do. Although I have to talk about this one as well. he wasn't perfect on these deep shots. He did have this one where this was just a missed throw, quite frankly. It's going to be, again, same situation, only a 3-man rush this time, but other than that, basically a same situation, go route against, single safety deep coverage. And look, right when this play starts, you are going to notice that, this is wide open. This is way more open than the other two, and maybe that's kind of what threw Tua off a little bit, is maybe Tua wasn't planning on making this throw until he saw how open it was getting. Also, he's already thrown the ball, so he had to make his decision a little bit earlier, but I'm just, showing it right here to highlight how open it eventually got and how much room there was for Tua to make this throw. And instead, the throw is out of bounds. It was a missed throw. It wasn't horribly missed. It was similar to the Parker one. He wanted to sort of lead his receiver towards the sideline and just went a little bit too far there. So not a horrible miss, but again, if I want to show the positives, I should show the negatives as well. It wasn't perfect, but as a whole, much better than we've seen him last year, which that's the hope, is we want to see him improve, and I would say he has improved in ways. This play was actually probably his best play of the day, quite frankly. It's a cover 2 zone, and the way this play is designed to work is it looks like it's just a pass to the halfback all the way, to one of his halfbacks. There's 2 backs in the game right here. He runs a play action with one. The other is going to go to the left side of the screen. He's also going to roll out in that direction. You have one wide receiver block. You have a tight end who's going to kind of just try and get in the way of another New England player. That's the way this play is going to work. Also, the situation is important here. It's a 3rd down and 2, so you're just trying to get a couple yards here, and I love what Tua is going to do here. So watch how right when this play starts. So you have the play action and everything. He wants to hit the back, but the back just doesn't appear to be open. New England is all over this, right? Not only that, but there's a New England player right into his face. So this has been incredible defense by New England right here, and it completely just, covered up a play that could have worked had it not been covered. So now Tua is going to another read here. He's going to Mike Gesicki, who I'm assuming this was a, hey, if nothing's open, you can look in that direction. But it's not how the play was designed. This is totally just a safety valve here. But you look at Gesicki, he's doing a pretty good job at trying to get open. He's in a decent situation, sort of, doing his best, I guess. The advantage with him is he's going up against a linebacker, so it is a mismatch, and Tua is going to take advantage of that. Look, throws across his body, gets the throw, very accurate despite off balance, under pressure. That's just Tua making something happen right there, quite frankly. An average, a replacement level quarterback does not make that play. So that's just adding points on the board, quite frankly, because you get the first down when otherwise, that would be a big failed conversion if they didn't get it. I believe there was a flag on that play regardless, but just the situation itself, very impressive. All right, now let's talk about there's 2 big negatives actually. The first one we already know, so we'll just talk about the first one first. This is one we've all seen, but let's talk about exactly what happened, and I think it's actually worse than I realized watching the broadcast footage. So there's going to be a blitz, and that's what's going to kind of blow this play up. Like, watch, blitz comes off the edge right here, Tua in trouble, nothing he saw was open, scrambling, all of that stuff. Okay, fine, we don't need to break that down. Here's what we need to break down. Tua is currently at the 25-yard line, and he's scrambling to his right. And given the fact that he's a left-handed quarterback, it's a lot more difficult to then throw this ball away had he been scrambling in the other direction, not to mention the way his hips are currently turned. It's just going to be difficult to get the ball very far down the field. But you see I put the marker down on the screen. That is where the line of scrimmage is. If Tua wants to throw the ball away, that's where he has to clear. And again, you can throw it past the, right out of bounds. So really, at about the 44 to sideline, that's where he should want to hit. That actually makes it feel a lot easier because it's a lot less across his body, for one thing, and it's just a lot closer. I also have another point. If he misses and it's intentional grounding penalty, who cares? It's 3rd down anyways. You're losing the ball anyways. Throwing the ball away here is not that big of a deal, which is part of why I even wonder, is Tua lying? Because he said he was trying to throw the ball away, but, is he just trying to cover himself up? And was he actually trying to make something happen when he probably shouldn't have? Because this is a very weird throw. This is nowhere close. Look, it stays in bounds, and it's about 10 yards further than it needed to be, and that's when it was caught. It would have landed 15 yards further than it needed to be, because again, it just has to land past the line of scrimmage. I have no clue what happened here. If this is true, and I'll believe Tua that he was trying to throw this out of bounds. This is the worst throw I've ever seen in an NFL game. It just is. And again, the pressure obviously had something to do with that, but just take the sack. There's no excuse for this. And you can say, it's one bad play, and I think that's fair. I'm not going to, in terms of how bad do I think this is for the future, probably not that bad. But to me, almost the worst part than the decision, which was a dumb decision, was just the throw itself. You're trying to throw it away. That's a horrible throw. It just is. And this play was another one. And it's going to be another. The pressure that Tua is facing causes him to miss a throw. And Tua, you look at his numbers under pressure versus not under pressure. Everyone's are going to go down under pressure, of course. But he has a huge shift from he's pretty good when he's kept clean, really bad when he's under pressure. And that's kind of the issue with Tua is you get him to, be able to move his hips and get his feet planted the way he wants to, he's fine. Once he has to kind of change his throwing motion a little bit, that's when issues can arise. So, speed that up a little bit, that can become an issue. So it's man coverage, cover one blitz, and you have multiple receivers who are going to run over the middle of the field. It's the second receiver that Tua is going to eventually want to hit, but it's going to take a minute. Look, right off the bat, so there's, it's actually not a blitz, but it's kind of a creative four-man rush. Tua eventually gets outside the pocket. There's now some trouble right here. So Tua wants to make that throw over the middle, and you can see why he wants to make this throw, right? Again, it's a third down situation, so this is where some of his issues have happened, and you have a player who is open, so I can understand the logic behind making this throw. But the issue, again, Tua, left-handed quarterback, look at his legs right here. Look at how his left leg is so much further in front than his right leg. He's going to have to move so quickly to get his feet planted, and then by the time he makes the throw, he's going to be throwing completely off balance. He won't be able to put any power underneath it, and it's going to be basically all arm, which, Patrick Mahomes can do, but he's the exception. Most quarterbacks can't do that stuff. And look, as you see, once again, this throw is nowhere close. That was a dropped interception. That's what that was. So these two were both very bad plays, and they're bad plays because his footwork could not be great on either of them because of pressure, but neither one of them, this second one, it was more so the play lasted a while. I think the real thing is, hey, Tua, scramble to your left. Don't scramble to your right, because you're not very good at throwing when you scramble to your right. He's actually pretty good at throwing when he's scrambling to his left. So don't throw across your body. Just stop doing that. I legitimately think that's good advice for Tua to know, is to just stop throwing across your body, ever. Don't do it. It's not working. It doesn't help the team to throw across your body. It helps the team to throw towards your body when you're rolling out to your left, but towards his right, it's been an issue. And maybe that's the hope is, hey, that's another thing he can get better at. And, I know Dolphins fans get a little bit testy with the Tua subject, and I get it, because he's, played 11 games for them, and people are already calling for his head. I think that's a little crazy, because there are some long-term issues, I think, with Tua, specifically his arm strength, but all this other stuff he can improve on. That interception towards the end was horrible and probably should have cost them the game, but you can at least improve on that, and he's a young quarterback. You want your young quarterback to make mistakes and then get better. It's just an unfortunate situation with Tua where typically a rookie quarterback comes in and the team is like, okay, we're rebuilding. It's a Zach Wilson situation, right? Or a Trevor Lawrence. It's you're our guy. We're going to do whatever it takes to get you better. And then hopefully in a couple years, we'll have a good team. Tua's already with a good team. So he kind of is in a weird situation where he has to be good right now. Because that's the issue is, can Tua really compete with like a Derek Carr right now? It's so unfair to put that on Tua, but it's also no, of course he's not as good as Derek Carr right now. He could maybe get there one day. There's that hope and that potential, but he's going to have to get there, and so that's the issue. But it's an interesting situation. So yeah, as a whole, a lot I liked, some I really didn't like. So that's my thought on Tua. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.